Okay, this video is going to be dealing with comments in Java. And we're going to take a look at the symbols used for comments and also the purpose of those comments and how they act within a Java program. And so we should be on page 7. We should be on number 17. Block or multi-line comments is one type. So this is if you're going to have more than one line be a part of a comment, you would use the block or multi-line comment symbols. And so the symbols used, you would have a beginning symbol is the / and the asterisk, and then the ending symbol would be this asterisk / Alright, so you have two symbols that must be used, a beginning and an ending, and you'll see why in a second. An example would be if we were going to put a header on a document, then we could use the beginning multi-line symbol, type three lines, and then type the ending multi-line comment symbol. So if we take a look at Java, and let's just go here and put that in here. So we would go like that and hit the tab key. Now notice, I'm just going to go right by. Notice what comments do. They make things turn orange. So if the whole program is orange, then we've got a problem. We don't want the entire thing to be orange, to be a comment. So we just want certain text. So that's why we need a closing multi-line comment symbol. So we hit enter and hit tab so that they line up. Enter, and then the date, enter, and now we want to put the closing symbol. Now you can put a symbol right here, and notice how it keeps just this section orange and the rest of the program is fine. And this is all fine and legal. What we like to do here, Xavier, is we like to go ahead and put this at the beginning on the left, and so that way the beginning comment symbol and the ending comment symbol line up, and then you have your code here that lines up Sally, period, and 8. Alright, so that's what we want to do in our class when we use a multi-line or block comment symbol. Okay, make them line up. Let's see, the next thing is line comments. Now line comments are used only for one line. Okay, so line comments are when you want to make just one single line a comment. And so the symbol used is a double /. That's it. Double /. So an example would be double /. This class calculates the sales tax for the first quarter. So only that line is affected. So let's take a look at that in JGrasp and notice the difference of what happens here. So let's go ahead and hit enter after the class, and let's say we want to give a comment that indicates the purpose of the class. This would be a common documentation. So we put the double /, and you notice that that turns orange, but nothing else does. The line below does not turn orange because this only has the power to comment one line of code. That's all the power it has. A good thing to do is to have a space after the last or the second symbol, just to make it look better. And so let's say that we would say this class talks about my first program. Alright, now if I were to hit enter and start typing, notice it's black because the line comment only has the power for one line. And so let's go ahead. Oh, here's the other thing. this line comment can be on its own line, but you could use a comment over here as part of a line of code. So notice that it doesn't affect this comment symbol does not affect anything before it on that same line, just the stuff after it. So declare the type of pet. Okay, so notice only that part after the symbol turns orange. Now, these things here, these comments, let's look at some characteristics of them. So, the comments are ignored by the compiler. So in number 19, comments are ignored by the compiler. So if we take this up here and compile this, okay, all these things are ignored. They don't affect the program at all. And just to show you more proof, let's go ahead and comment this. And so if what I'm saying is true, then the this line of code will not operate because it'll be ignored by the compiler. So it will not say first Java application. That's if I'm telling the truth. Why did I do this wrong? Okay, here we go. So there's the compile. Here's the run. It says my new and improved, but it doesn't print first Java application because it's been commented out. So we look at some more issues here. A line comment can be on its own line or just part of a line of code. So a line comment can be part of its, can be on its own line or just part. And we already demonstrated that in here, where here's the line comment used on its own line, and here's the line comment that's used as part of a line of code. And then comments are used for documentation purposes by the programmer. So the example here is that this is documenting that what this program is about. Here's a documentation of the purpose of this particular line of code. Here's an example of comments that I used when I took this class, and so here's documentation. Okay, here's an explanation of the class, and then here's variable declarations, which you will learn about later on, but this indicates that this section here is all for declaring variables. And then this is a documentation that tells me, reminds me what the purpose of this section of code is for. I'm doing this code to use a dialog box for the dollar amount prompt and assignment. So I'm just documenting the purpose of certain sections of code. Display the number of bills for each currency. This is the purpose of this. So I'm just documenting it. You could even document this, the end of main, end of class. And sometimes what this does, this documentation does, is it makes it easier for the programmer to go back and edit their program, and it serves also as a reminder of the purpose of different lines of code or sections of code. And then the last thing is that to comment out a line of code is a strategy used to test a specific section of code. So to comment out a line of code is a strategy used to test a specific line of code. And I don't have the greatest example here, but this example that I used here is, let's say that we want to see if this print statement is working right without it printing something else. That would be an example. Another example would be the program that we did. Let me see if I can find it here. Student submissions. Print play. So that our first coding program, you remember that I gave you the program in a couple of sections. So the first section was supposed to be 3 statements. So let's say you tried, let's say you did the entire program, and then you might go, well, you know, I just want to test the first section to make sure it worked. So what you can do is you can use, in this case, you can use a multi-line comment here, and 1, 2, 3, and then alright, so we can use the multi-line comment. We comment out all this so that this is all ignored by the compiler, and we're just testing this code and seeing if it works. And so we would compile it, and then we would run it, and then all it does is prints the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and doesn't do any of this other, the Papa John stuff at all. Alright, so that is the purpose of commenting out lines of code. Alright, that does it for comments.